Hi everyone, welcome to Shaking Out Salt Myths, our Facebook Live today, and we're gonna go through salt and foods to help with blood pressure and all that type of stuff. We're gonna give everyone a few minutes to hop on, give us some thumbs up, hearts, things like that to make sure you can see us. But I'm Katherine, I'm one of the dietitians here at Blue Cross. I'm sure you've seen our face a couple times on this page. And then
I'm Laura, I'm the other dietitian here at Blue Cross. So welcome.
Welcome. Yes, so today we're just going to go through, of course, a little bit about hypertension, ways to help eat healthier if you do have hypertension, also meal ideas, snack ideas, all the good stuff like that. So again, hopefully people are coming on in and yeah, so all right. I think we are, oh yes, I'm sorry. Don't forget to go to, yeah, we're gonna go to the next page. Sorry, my clicker's over here. Okay, so we are part of a care team and we work with nurses, social workers, pharmacists, all that, and we help manage members and their chronic conditions. So this is just a picture of some of our nurses. But yeah, we do have a care team here along with, we have a website, Stronger Than. We also have a YouTube channel. We have a whole bunch of good resources that you can check out some of our videos and things like that. But all right.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna jump right in.
Sorry, are we ready? Are we ready? Do you think we have, okay, let's do this. Katherine, you're gonna start.
Am I doing the first true false? Okay,
you're doing
so we're gonna start with a little true false just to kind of check your education. So the majority of the sodium in our diets comes from salt. Feel free to add a T or F in the comments, but anyway, we just like to kind of throw a little true false out there, a little icebreaker. So let us know, and we'll just give you like a couple seconds. And we'll just go to the next slide with our answer. But that's false. So the majority of our salt does not come from the salt shaker. It actually comes from processed foods. I'm sure a lot of y'all recognize these convenience foods right here. We'll kind of dive into the nutrition facts for these a little later, but a lot of these processed foods have a whole lot of salt. It's very surprising.
Next.
I think it's you for this one.
Oh, okay. So true or false, is sea salt better than table salt? Give me your T's or F's. Let's see what y'all think about this.
Some good looking salt right there.
Yeah, I would say that would be sea salt because it's got the big granules.
Yep.
Okay, so it is false. So we know that this can be confusing for some people. There's so many different types of salt. We got kosher salt, we got Himalayan salt, we got pink salt, green salt, purple salt, sea salt. But they are all sodium chloride. So regardless of whether it's a coarser granule or a finer granule, when you're looking at teaspoons, 1/4 a teaspoon, this is like regular table fine salt, and this is the sea salt. So they're both 590 milligrams for 1/4 of a teaspoon. So it doesn't really matter.
Do we have that even?
I will say that like when you put when you're using like kosher or Himalayan or whatever, and they're the bigger granules, there's air pockets in when you're measuring it. So you might have less because of the granules fitting in the teaspoon. But if you were to like grind it and make it fine, it's the same 560 milligrams for 1/4 of a teaspoon, regardless of the type of salt it is. All right, so we're gonna jump into a little bit of the medical before we hit the food part. But so what is blood pressure? When we talk about blood pressure, we're talking about the force of your blood flowing through your arteries. So your heart is pumping your blood through your body, and that pressure is what is considered blood pressure. Several years ago, I was watching Dr. Oz, and he made the analogy of your blood pressure, like the visual of thinking about like a hose and the water that's flowing through the hose. And I thought that was really, like I could visualize that. So I kind of use that still, like just think about the pressure that your blood is flowing like water flows through a hose. Okay, and so then we have hypertension. And so hypertension is going to be related to certain blood pressure readings. So we know that normal is anything that's 120 over 80. So this is ultimately what we're looking for when we get our blood pressure readings, is 120 or over 80 or less. And then we know that we're considered hypertensive or have hypertension if we are anywhere over of 140 over 90. So those are some numbers that's kind of good to know and keep in your head whenever you're having your blood pressure checked. Okay, so blood pressure references two different numbers. So there's a top number and a bottom number. We know the top number is the systolic number, and that's when your heart is contracting. And then you have the bottom number, which is the diastolic number, which is more about when your heart is relaxed. So those two readings are what make up the blood pressure reading.
Okay, so now that we did the medical and that type of stuff, we'll go into the good part, the food. So we have 4 tips to help lower blood pressure that we're gonna go through in a minute. We have maintain a healthy weight, to follow a DASH diet, eat less salt, which is the theme, of course, and then exercise. And again, our slides, we're gonna be going through some examples and how to help with this.
Okay,
The weight, maintain.
So we know that weight loss is a great way to kind of start to help get your blood pressure in better control. And when you think about weight loss, it doesn't have to be this huge number for weight loss. What the studies have shown is that even a 7% reduction in your weight can have significant benefits with regards to helping getting that number a little bit closer to what the ideal range is. So let's say we were 200 pounds, 7% weight loss for a 200-pound person would be about 14 pounds. So it's nothing like, we're not talking about like 50, something that's too unattainable. Little bit can make a big impact. And it doesn't have to be yesterday or tomorrow, or, it can be a longer time frame to lose this 7%. What we see is that people that typically do lose weight over a slower period tend to keep it off because they're doing things that are realistic and they're actually making these behavior changes that we know help keep it off forever and maintain that. Okay. I'm doing the DASH diet too. So we have several different diets that you can kind of use as a good resource. I find that the DASH diet is probably the most effective. I'm a little partial because I actually worked with the DASH over at Pennington. But so the DASH diet is a dietary approach to stop hypertension, not really in relation to Mrs. Dash seasoning. But the DASH diet in a nutshell is basically you're looking to get 8 to 12 or 8 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. That's a lot. I mean, if I'm eating 8 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, I don't really have much room for much else. So it's really, really pushing the fruits and the vegetables because we know that fruits and vegetables have no sodium, right? It's only what we would add to it. It also includes low-fat dairy, so it's 2 to 3 servings of low-fat dairy. It's lots of whole grains, high-fiber grains, lean meats are also pushed. So there's a ton of information on the DASH diet available. If you're really looking for something that's like a structured diet plan, I highly encourage you to look for that. Actually, the care management team has DASH diet handouts that we do send out to our members that are engaged. So we can have that if you are engaged with us. And so I think NIH I think we're going to put some of the links for the actual websites below. So use that as a resource. I will throw in the Mediterranean diet has also been shown to have decent benefits for managing your blood pressure. So those are 2 good diets to look at. So when you're talking about salt, it's like sodium and salt can be, and salt and sodium are the same word. I just want to throw that out there. So when you're looking at numbers on your food label, it can be everybody feels like it's so high, and it's because it's in milligrams. So, and a lot of other like carbohydrates and fats are in grams. So it's a pretty big difference with just the metric system. Anyway, okay, so when we're talking about salt, so the typical American diet, this says 3,400 milligrams per day. I find that it's more like 4,000, 5,000 milligrams per day when we're talking about how much salt people are taking in for the day. We know that the recommended limit would be about 2,300 milligrams to 2,000 milligrams per day. And then if someone has like really high hypertension or has just had a heart attack or has any kind of heart issues or needs to really be restrictive on their salt for the day. It's closer to 1,500 milligrams per day. So just as a point of reference, let's look at, again, go back to that food label for our regular salt. 1/4 of a teaspoon has 590. So a full teaspoon has 2,300 milligrams. And whoops, didn't we just say our goal is 2,300 for the day? So 1 teaspoon of salt at all, you've already used your whole allowance for that day. So you really have to remove the salt shaker completely from your diet, which is hard. We're not saying this is easy. Okay. We have a question. Is Himalayan salt healthier? And that's, I'm gonna go back. We talked about earlier the true false, how it doesn't really matter if it's Himalayan, pink, purple, blue, orange, green. It doesn't matter. It's salt. It's sodium chloride. And so it's all gonna be the same amount for how much is in a teaspoon. All right, I'm turning it over to Katherine.
Okay, so let's go through some things to do when cooking. So we have a couple pictures here of what to avoid or limit. So soy sauce, big one that is loaded with salt. Even the low sodium version of soy sauce, unfortunately, has a lot of salt. We have garlic salt up here. Garlic salt and was it onion salt? Are both have a lot of salt, where of course if you're choosing the garlic powder or the onion powder, it's less. The chicken broth right here, canned chicken broth, just some of your convenience things like this are going to be loaded with salt. Yes, there is the lower salt option, so try to choose those when you can. And some add-ons and condiments, mustard's a big one that has a lot of salt, these olives, things like that. Actually, this Worcestershire sauce right here though is one of our lower salt condiments. It's only 65 milligrams for a teaspoon. So again, if you just want to check the food label for different condiments, some are better than others for whenever you're adding to the cooking process. So speaking of, we want to replace our high salty seasonings and condiments with, of course, fresh is best as always. So chopping up the fresh celery, onions, bell peppers, things like that, your fresh herbs and spices. But of course, dried also works. So you could make your own seasoning blend. Here we have a few examples, but we are all familiar with Mrs. Dash. But Paul Prudhomme also has some seasoning blends. Here's one of them, his Seafood Magic. Yes. And it's 100 milligrams of sodium for 1/4 of a teaspoon. And of course it has things like spices, dehydrated garlic, paprika, things like that. And I actually found this in my cabinet at the house. That's why I brought it. It does not have the nutrition facts, but the ingredients show dehydrated onion, lemon peel, dehydrated celery, paprika, red pepper. So there's no salt in this. This is an all-purpose herb seasoning mix. But again, you can take all these individually and make your own. I know like Fresh Market, for example, sells all of the herbs and spices in bags, and it's a lot cheaper than buying a McCormick's each time or something. So you can make your own blend. And you could always look online and find different blends. So speaking of creating, that's the next tip we have here. You know, here's probably a good marinade that you could do. We have, it says lime, oil, chili, paprika. So you could make your own homemade marinades. You know, when you buy, say, pork tenderloins or various meats already in a marinade at the grocery store, there's a lot of salt there. But of course, if you do it yourself and get to limit the salt, then that helps. And I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but it made me think of making your own dressing. I have a dressing recipe that, you know, calls for oil and balsamic vinaigrette and just seasonings like rosemary and basil and oregano. So again, you can make your own with lemons, limes, oil. So if you want to make your own salad dressing, but same goes for salad dressing. They vary in salt. Some are a lot higher than others. So again, it's about being that person in the grocery store like we do and check that food label as much as possible.
I just wanted to throw in, I really like the herbs that are in the refrigerated section that like you can keep in your refrigerator, because I feel like they're a little bit more fresh than the dried, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they stay a lot longer. So
True. Great tip. Yes.
Okay, we're good?
Yes.
Moving on.
Okay,
All right.
so is this me still?
Mhm.
Okay, so check food labels. Sorry, we're probably gonna drill it in, but that really is the biggest thing. You don't know what you're eating if you're not checking that food label. Fresh or frozen, of course, is always best. So this always can go back to meal planning. So if you don't know what you're cooking that week, or you buy a whole bunch of fresh ingredients, and then it's a week that y'all are, having gains or having whatever's going on in life lately, then your food's gonna go bad. So it does go back to meal planning. Try to figure out meals for the week. But frozen are great. There's so many frozen vegetables out there now. So fresh, frozen, and then of course if you need to keep canned green beans, canned carrots, corn on hand, I mean, it's still better than French fries, when you think of it that way. So, and same with the meats, how I mentioned the pork tenderloin that's already in a marinade. Try to choose fresh. Fresh is best. Do some sort of marinade or rub at your house with your low salt seasonings you're gonna choose. So fresh is best for the meats too. I think this is you.
Me,
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we are looking at a food label. Obviously, when you're looking at your food label, there's a couple of things. The serving size, so it says serving size 1 cup, and then it depends on what it is. So like Catherine has like a can of soup, and the servings per container are
2.5 for this double noodle
yes.
soup.
Yeah.
And the sodium is 790 milligrams.
So that's just for 1 cup or whatever the serving was. So if you ate the whole can, which who eats a third of a can of Campbell's soup, you're getting what?
790 times 2.5.
So let's just say, like 1,700 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah.
We're really good at math. So,
For just this, I mean, of course you're gonna eat the whole thing.
I will say that Catherine can kind of help me out with this one, because we were talking. So when we talk about sodium, if something's considered low in sodium, it's got 140 milligrams of sodium per serving or less. So if this was, like, say, a salad dressing, because I'm trying to find some marinades for my meats or my chicken, I'm looking at all the salad dressings. The salad dressing, the serving size was 2 tablespoons, and the sodium was 130. Awesome. So 140 or less per serving is considered low in sodium. The percent daily value. So for the most part, I feel like this percent daily value is not resourceful at all, because it's based off a 2,000 calorie diet, and not everybody's on different diet calorie ranges, so it's kind of hard to use this, except for the sodium. So this percent daily value is based off the 2,300 milligram recommendation or the 2,000 milligram recommendation, and so you can kind of look at it and say, okay, this was 660 milligrams. Let's say it was my whole meal. So I had 1 cup, and it was my whole meal, and then I was going to have fresh carrots and or sliced tomatoes, and so 28% for the whole meal is not even a third, right? We're having 3 meals a day. If it was 33, that's still okay. So this is 28.
34%.
34%, plus I'm going to have a salad.
This is just your meal. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you're eating like that. That's if you're only eating that.
Correct.
Serving, so that's not really. But so like you kind of have to use how much of a contributor it is to your day or to your meal. But you can kind of use that, because you can know that that's based off that recommendation for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else with the?
Nope.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you
Yeah. I think you, yeah. Okay, so it is good to know that just for the majority, salt is coming from restaurants and packaged foods. So when I have someone who's got high blood pressure and we're trying to work through their salt intake and they're eating out every day, it's really something that they've got to kind of pull back on, the eating out component. It's not coming from home cooking. It's not coming from even the salt shaker. It's coming from your processed food and your restaurant eating.
Which is why, again, meal planning is so important. So, okay, so here we go. Speaking of meal planning. So if you don't know what you're gonna be eating, you wanna grab some hamburger helper. The food label is very hard to read on the hamburger helper, to be honest. It says for 1/3 cup prepared is this, right? Isn't that what we said? Or 1 cup
It's 1 cup
prepared
Packaged.
Something like that. So 1 cup, there we go, 1 cup packaged. So if we have a cup of Hamburger Helper, then you're getting 540 milligrams of salt. Where this is a homemade meal we have at the house. We did noodles. I think we did about a cup of noodles. We did some low sodium Prego, and we did frozen or fresh green beans. And say a cup, I think we did. So for your whole meal there, it's 560 milligrams of salt. So again, you can have a cup of Hamburger Helper for 540 or spaghetti and green beans for the same amount. So again, just trying to plan the meals and actually fix something in the house instead of getting everything processed.
And a reference for, so we said 2,000 milligrams per day is 660 per meal. So whenever you're the goal for the meal is 660.
And that's just if you're only eating 3 meals. That doesn't include a snack.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of meals, eating on the go, it's very popular. Most people, say for lunch, will go eat out, or even if they're home, they don't have anything at the house, so they'll go grab something out. So we try to do a little comparison. So this Southwest grilled chicken salad from McDonald's, it's very tasty. I personally like it also, but it's 930 milligrams of salt. The big thing for this that jacks up that salt is the chicken. I know if you take off the chicken, it's a whole lot. Oh, whoa, what happened? The dressing. Okay, so they do have different dressing options though there. So I mean, I'm assuming this is with the actual Southwest dressing. So the good thing is that all the fast food restaurants have their nutrition facts online. So you could always go play and look at the different dressings. Because sometimes when I've gotten this in the past, I've asked for their balsamic vinaigrette instead of the Southwest. So I know for Chick-fil-A, all their sauces are different calories and fat. So sometimes I go crazy and get ranch, but then sometimes I choose a healthier one. So same with this. Some of the dressings might be lower in salt. Okay, I'm a huge fan of frozen dinners. Laura knows this about me. She's our sandwicher. I'm the frozen dinner for lunch. These are 2 that I actually do like. Probably have them in my freezer now. So over the years, they've gotten a bad rap for salt. Sometimes when I talk to patients, they're told that, their physician said, don't eat frozen dinners, don't eat out. But if we're comparing it to a fast food restaurant, it's actually better. So this lean cuisine, this new unwrapped chicken burrito, and this healthy choice power bowl, I don't know the name, but it was something, chicken something, but 620 and 600 milligrams of salt. Maybe have a fresh vegetable with it, have a piece of fruit if the calories aren't enough, and there's a great lunch. So, okay, a couple more comparisons. So a double cheeseburger.
Sorry.
No, let's do the whole thing.
Why didn't this one come over?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, excuse me.
So the double cheeseburger from McDonald's. If we're doing the double cheeseburger with a large fry, we're at 1390 milligrams of salt. And we're not even gonna go into the fat, calories, all that makes it so much worse than these. But again, that's another comparison. And then Cane's. I'm not sure which meal this is. I'm gonna assume one of the smaller ones actually, the 3-piece one, is 1534. So again, if we could do calories compared to our 310 healthy choice, I'm sure this is triple. But so again, the sodium content just when you're going out is gonna be through the roof. Okay, so this is one that I absolutely love. So when I went to the Chili's website, I tried to choose from the healthy list. So their healthy means maybe heart healthy, like it's lower in fat, or they might be watching the carbs or different things like that, not anything fried. So the mango chili chicken, so there's broccoli, there's chicken with some salsa on it, avocado, rice. Calories 630, nothing crazy. Fat is 16 grams, but our sodium is 2,500. So it's loaded with salt. That's more than what you should be having in a day. And now the Santa Fe chicken salad, another healthier option, 620 calories. I think there's probably fried chicken, I'm assuming why the fat's so much. And then the sodium is 1660, which isn't bad. I'm really wondering if there's any dressing on there. I would have to. If
It looks dry personally, but I don't know if it.
I'm
It
wondering.
can't with this tortilla strips. There's no way that has dressing.
I know. I'm thinking the dressing might be on the side, and you could choose your dressing with it. But let's say we would add another couple hundred. So it still just goes to show. I mean, even these healthier items, it's not their chicken tender meal or their blooming onion. I don't know, but it's still they're still going to be loaded in salt. So just real quick, this is what a healthy plate should look like all around. If you're trying to do lunch or supper, especially cooking at the house, half a plate coming from vegetables, a fourth from protein, a fourth from our carbohydrates. If you've watched any of our live videos before, you know that this is like probably our favorite picture, but we just want to get it in people's heads that this is what your plate should look like. Me. Okay, so who said a snack has to be chips? Often when we ask people about their snacks that they're having, chips, candy, the top ones. So here's some items that Laura and I personally like. Hummus with raw veggies, carrots, cucumber, string cheese with some fresh fruit, avocados rock. Here's a little ready snack mix thing with cheese, ranch, and carrots, boiled eggs. You could make your own cheese and nut and fruit plate. Yes, cheese has some salt, hummus does. I mean, some of these have salt, but again, we always got to outweigh our options. If you're grabbing a bag of Doritos and opening it and just going to town mindlessly versus a lot more portion controlled, maybe a string cheese or two with an apple or a banana or these grapes, again, your sodium will be a lot better doing that versus the bag of chips.
And you'll get full.
And you'll get much fuller with
that too.
Yes, with the protein and the fat and all that.
Okay, so this is just kind of like a little throwing up, just to be mindful. So their drinks do have sodium in them as well, and so you want to just make sure that you're always looking at your food label. Sometimes I find myself going away from the food label, but always come back to the food label. So V8 juice, I think everybody kind of knows that V8 juice is high in sodium, but so I have my numbers over here, I'm kind of cheating. So the regular is 640, whereas the low is 140. That's huge. I mean, hello. So always choose the low sodium if you're needing to get your vegetables, because it helps you stand upright.
I was about to say, I've never had low sodium V8 juice because I don't like it, but just eat a tomato.
Yeah,
that could be.
I'm not a big V8
I don't know, but
some people do drink that.
Yeah, take a multivitamin. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Veering off. Okay.
Oh goodness. So green tea. This was just random. It's 210 for the bottle. I wouldn't have thought that it had sodium. So again, just kind of throwing that out there. We know that Gatorade is, it's full of electrolytes. Sodium is an electrolyte, so of course it's going to be high in sodium. Just think about why you're drinking a Gatorade. Like, do you really need to replace your electrolytes? You could also eat a banana and some nuts to get some potassium and some chloride and sodium versus having to drink the calories from the Gatorade. That's my little soapbox. And then Swiss Miss. It kind of depends. It's not bad. 150.
It's 150 for a packet, but I think it's just surprising. I think people don't realize that if they're having a packet of Swiss Miss or something, then they're having an additional 150. If you're already maybe having, that could be like a bag of chicken. It's just surprising. You could save that and have water.
Yes.
I was kind of
I
surprised.
concur. Yes. I agree.
Cool. Okay, so just again, exercise, just move as much as possible. We don't have a whole lot to say on that, but just remember, if you're taking the stairs, that counts. You're burning calories, you're moving, you're walking the dog, you're cutting the grass, swimming. Every form of movement helps. So if we go back all the way to the beginning and we're trying to maintain a healthy weight or get to a healthy weight, the physical activity will definitely help lose some of that weight, keep the weight off. So keep up the physical activity. Okay, sorry, I know we're getting close to time.
So there's some apps. I'm a big fan of apps. All the numbers that Katherine had on those examples for the meals, we don't have that ingrained in our head. We went and looked for it. So it's there, it's available to you, use it. Calorie King is, it's not on here. CalorieKing.com.
Oh, this is Calorie King.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Anyway, www.calorieking.com is a website that I'm always on when I'm on the phone with my members. When they're telling me what they ate, I go there to figure out what the numbers are that they've had. MyFitnessPal is probably the one that's most utilized because it's easy. You can create your own profile, but you don't even have to track the calories as much as you can just look up foods. Cane's is in here. Cane's is not in Calorie King. So sometimes you can find stuff on some of the apps that you can't find on the website. Fat Secret's another one. And we also really like the Ochsner Eat Fit app that kind of is specific to Louisiana and kind of guides us through meals
And restaurants
in Louisiana. Yep.
They go by regions. That's where, like, Alexandria has one, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. So, but it's good.
They're good. Okay, so any comments, questions, concerns, shout outs, thank yous? I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, so while we're looking stronger than, so make sure that you go to our bluecross.com website /stronger than to get information on the Stronger Than campaign, looking at our care team, figure out who all's here for you. We also have a YouTube channel that has a lot of wonderful healthy information that is easy, short little blurbs.
There's more of us on there.
Yeah, and so you get to see us.
And some of our medical directors and other stuff on there on the YouTube. So, okay, awesome. Well, thank you for.
Okay. Yeah. So the one question is the sea salt versus table salt. Again, it's kind of the same question as the Himalayan salt. They're all the same. When you come and you grind them down, it's sodium chloride, 1/4 teaspoon, 560 milligrams ish. Yes. Thanks everybody. It was awesome.
Thank you so much, everyone. # Romaine Calm. Carry it on.
We're
it's
back
a big deal.
next month. Yes. Oh, yes. We have once a month now. We'll be doing these. So the next one is on September 16th.
A day in the life. We'll go through what we eat since we get asked that a lot. So we'll try to be truthful. Kidding. No, we will. We will actually go through a day in the life of how we eat. And so we'll turn the tables on us this time. So, okay. Thank y'all so much. Yes. Thank you.